In an era when astronomical figures frequently dominate our headlines, one number should particularly trouble every American: $34 trillion. This staggering sum represents the current national debt of the United States, a historical peak that not only reflects our past spending habits but also foreshadows potential economic peril. As the debt clock ticks menacingly, the question looms large. Can America dodge the looming debt disaster, or are we tiptoeing on the precipice of financial ruin? The national debt, swelling at a rate of about $1 trillion every 100 days, presents more than just a fiscal challenge. It threatens to redefine the American economic landscape, squeezing out vital social programs and handcuffing future policy decisions. With each tick of the debt clock, the stakes for the average American elevate, making this not just a matter of national concern, but a deeply personal one as well. From the moment of its inception, the United States has grappled with national debt. Initially born out of the Revolutionary War, this financial obligation has ballooned over centuries, influenced by wars, recessions, and policy decisions. Today's debt level is not just another statistic, it is unprecedented, dwarfing the financial challenges of the past. Historically, national emergencies such as wars and economic crises have necessitated increases in debt. However, the recent surge sets a new benchmark, driven not by one isolated event but by a series of extensive expenditures and financial policies that have compounded over the years. Understanding our current debt in the context of history is crucial. It offers not only a lens to view our past financial missteps and successes, but also provides a stark perspective on the enormity of today's fiscal challenges. The COVID-19 pandemic has indelibly marked the landscape of U.S. national debt. With vast sums allocated to healthcare, economic stimuli, and vaccine development, the pandemic response has added trillions to the national ledger, accelerating debt accumulation at a historic pace. Specifically, relief measures such as enhanced unemployment benefits, stimulus checks, and small business loans were critical in mitigating the pandemic's economic impact. However, these necessary actions came with a hefty price tag, contributing significantly to the current debt level. The long-term fiscal consequences of these pandemic-related expenditures are profound. They have not only increased the immediate debt burden, but also set the stage for future financial constraints, impacting everything from Social Security to infrastructure spending. Immigration and foreign aid represent significant line items in the U.S. budget, each contributing to the national debt in complex ways. Recent years have seen a surge in expenses related to housing, food, and transportation for immigrants, particularly those entering the country illegally, which has placed additional strain on the nation's financial resources. Simultaneously, the U.S. has maintained its role on the global stage as a major provider of foreign aid. For instance, the financial support directed towards Ukraine amidst its ongoing conflict has been substantial, eclipsing past allocations to other countries. This level of expenditure, while reflective of America's foreign policy priorities, adds another layer of complexity to the debt issue. Analyzing the effectiveness of this spending is crucial. While humanitarian and strategic imperatives drive these expenditures, the impact on national debt cannot be overlooked. Balancing these imperatives with fiscal responsibility is one of the key challenges facing policymakers today. The soaring national debt poses severe threats to the economic stability of the United States. As debt levels rise, the government's ability to fund social programs such as Medicare, Social Security, and education could be severely throttled. This reduction in social spending could have ripple effects across society, particularly for the most vulnerable populations. Furthermore, the specter of a financial crisis looms larger as debt increases. High levels of debt constrain the government's ability to respond to new crises, reduce economic flexibility, and ultimately threaten the financial security of future generations. Economic flexibility is particularly at risk. With more money directed towards servicing debt, less is available for investments in infrastructure, technology, and other critical areas that drive long-term growth. This scenario could lead to slower economic growth, further exacerbating the debt problem. Addressing the national debt is as much a political challenge as it is an economic one. Voter awareness of the debt issue has grown, with many Americans now recognizing its severity and insisting it be prioritized in policymaking. Yet, the path forward is fraught with political pitfalls. Lawmakers face a tough choice: cut spending or raise taxes. Both options carry significant political risks and could impact their chances of re-election. This creates a deadlock, often resulting in short-term fixes rather than sustainable long-term solutions. The need for bipartisan solutions has never been more urgent. Political inertia, driven by partisan divides and short-term electoral considerations, hinders meaningful reform. Overcoming this inertia is essential for addressing the debt challenge effectively. The cost of servicing the national debt is rapidly becoming a dominant force in federal budget considerations. Current forecasts suggest that within the next decade, interest payments on the debt could surpass annual expenditures on national defense, a startling shift that underscores the severity of the debt issue. These interest payments represent not just a financial cost but also an opportunity cost. Money that could be spent on other vital areas like education or healthcare is instead going towards interest. This dynamic places additional pressure on the budget and limits the government's ability to fund future projects. Strategies to manage these rising interest payments are in dire need. Options include refinancing the debt at lower interest rates and extending the maturity of existing debt. However, these strategies require careful consideration to avoid unintended financial consequences. In a high-debt economy, personal financial literacy becomes crucial. Individuals must be adept at managing their finances against the backdrop of national economic uncertainty. Investing in real estate is often touted as a wise strategy, providing not only a stable income stream through rentals but also tax benefits. Additionally, precious metals like gold and silver have historically been safe havens during times of economic turmoil. Their intrinsic value and relative resistance to market fluctuations make them appealing choices for preserving wealth. Understanding and utilizing these strategies can provide individuals with a buffer against potential economic shocks resulting from national debt issues, ensuring personal financial stability. The escalating national debt underscores the need for enhanced financial literacy among Americans. Improved understanding of personal and national finances can empower individuals to make better financial decisions, which in turn can influence national economic policies. Educational programs focused on financial literacy can play a pivotal role. Schools, nonprofits, and government agencies have the potential to offer resources that make complex economic concepts accessible and relevant to everyday Americans. The impact of widespread financial education could extend beyond personal financial health to influence the broader economic landscape, potentially encouraging more informed dialogue and decision-making about national debt and fiscal policy. Several policy solutions could address the spiraling national debt, though each comes with its own set of challenges and trade-offs. Spending cuts, tax increases, and reforms in entitlement programs are among the most discussed avenues. However, the viability of these solutions varies. For instance, spending cuts could undermine essential services, while tax increases might stifle economic growth. Entitlement reform, necessary for long-term debt sustainability, remains politically sensitive. Looking internationally, countries like Canada and Sweden have successfully implemented debt reduction strategies that balanced austerity with growth incentives. These examples could offer valuable lessons for U.S. policymakers. The Federal Reserve plays a critical role in managing the national debt through its monetary policies. By setting interest rates, the Federal Reserve influences economic activity and thus the government's ability to service its debt. Recent trends towards lower interest rates have helped manage the debt servicing costs. However, these policies also have long-term implications, such as potential inflationary pressures, which need to be managed carefully to avoid undermining economic stability. Strategic long-term monetary policies that support economic growth while keeping inflation in check are essential. These policies must be crafted carefully to balance the immediate benefits of low interest rates with the long-term health of the economy. The $34 trillion national debt is not just a number. It's a mirror reflecting the fiscal policy choices and economic challenges of the United States. As this figure continues to grow, it casts a long shadow over the economic future of the nation, threatening the financial stability of future generations. Policymakers and individuals alike must take decisive action. For lawmakers, this means embracing bipartisan solutions and long-term strategies over short-term gains. For individuals, it involves cultivating financial literacy and adopting prudent personal finance strategies. Navigating this debt crisis requires a concerted effort from all sectors of society. Only through informed decision-making and proactive policy interventions can America hope to dodge the looming debt disaster and secure a prosperous economic future.